Right, that's our focus. United States Vice President J.D. Vance, who's going to be wheels down in New Delhi tomorrow 10 a.m. along with his family. Second, along with his family, and they're going to be in the national capital all of tomorrow. The visit itself of 4 days, he's wheels up and leaves India on April 24th. During this 4-day visit, the first day in New Delhi is packed with official events where he's going to meet the Prime Minister and also hold delegation-level talks. And then, of course, an official dinner hosted by the Prime Minister for the visiting dignitary. Apart from that, he's going to have some cultural engagements. And the rest of the trip over the next 2 days is going to be in Agra and Jaipur. Seems more of a family visit there. I'm joined in this broadcast by former Foreign Secretary of India, Mr. Kanwal Sibal. Very good evening to you, sir. And let me begin by asking, how important you think is this visit of first visit of U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance to India?
A couple of things. One, that this is not an official visit. It's a private visit. But even private visits at such level have an official flavor to them. The decisions to make such private visits are not taken lightly, because there's always on the mind of those who take these decisions that the visit will have official overtones. And as you said, there's going to be a meeting with the Prime Minister, delegation-level talks, etc., which means that the India-US agenda would be covered in these talks, and whatever the Prime Minister and President Trump had agreed, and that's reflected in the joint statement that was issued after Prime Minister Modi's visit, will be reviewed, and more importantly, in the context of what is happening on the tariffs front and the 90-day period that for us, in order to find some kind of via media and progress in terms of teaching basic understandings on where we are headed in terms of India also opening up its market and the United States in return giving us openings, so that it is a win-win situation. The second thing is that Vice President Vance has taken a very high profile in foreign policy, which is not very, very usual. As you would have seen in many of the interactions that have taken place in President Trump and visiting leaders, President Vance says things in these official conversations. But more than that, he went to Europe and made a very powerful speech at the Munich.
Mr. Sibal, sorry to be interjecting. There is some audio issue. Just hold on. I'm asking the PCR to fix the audio. In the meantime, I'm just playing some graphics just so that we can fix the audio and come back to you. I want to continue this conversation. So this is some of the information that should be the focus for viewers when Vice President J.D. Vance's visit pans out over the next few days. And we have trade talks going on. In fact, our Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal was in Washington, D.C. in the month of March, and he had gone there to take the trade talks further. And it is likely that we're going to see some movement forward in that direction. The two sides have put a benchmark of a trade deal which talks about $500 billion worth of trade, given the fact that this is one trade relationship in which India has benefited immensely. We have a trade surplus with the United States, and that should hold us in good stead. And the high-profile visit really underscores the kind of the kind of talks at the topmost levels that are happening between New Delhi and Washington, D.C. Remember, Jan 20 is the time when President Trump took oath of office, and just next day, the first bilateral meeting of the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, happened with External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, who had represented India during the oath-taking ceremony. And then after that, we had Prime Minister himself for visiting United States in the month of February. In the month of March, we have had Tulsi Gabbard traveling to India. And before that, same in the month of March, we had Piyush Goyal visiting Washington, D.C. I think we have fixed the audio there. Now I can go back to Mr. Sibal. Sir, you were talking about the trade deal. Sorry for this interruption, but it's fixed now. You think India has done the right thing by not retaliating when the tariffs were being imposed, and in that sense send across a message to the United States and to Washington, D.C. that we are in for the long haul, we are looking at a long-term relationship, so let this turbulence not affect it. And that's really paying dividends now, or would pay dividends.
The point is, do we want a trade war? Retaliation would mean that we have taken the decision to have a trade war with the United States. That would be a very foolish position to take. The whole idea was that we should meet the challenge that Trump is posing not only to us, but the entire world in a sense, and deal with it constructively and see if we can evolve win-win situations. That was the whole idea of our Prime Minister making a very early visit to Washington. And even before he made the visit, in our budget, we made some concessions on the market front to U.S. products. And then subsequently, we've had a series of interactions. Our Commerce Minister has gone there. Mr. Lutnick was here well, he was not physically here, but he spoke at the Raisina dialogue.
Yes.
Our side has met Jamie Greer, the USTR, and now our team is going once again to Washington. The new designated Commerce Secretary will be going there to hold talks. So it's an ongoing effort by us to see if this 90 days so-called reprieve that everybody has got from this tariff thing can be used constructively by us to reach some kind of basic understandings and then work on them so that by the time the autumn comes and the Quad Summit takes place and President Trump is expected to come for that summit, we would have been able to agree on the first phase of the multi-sector trade agreement. So it was a very wise decision on us. China took a very different course of action, and you've seen how this is erupted into a big confrontation between United States and China. We do not know how it will end, but clearly it's going to cost both sides a great deal. India has been very cautious. We have seen what our own capacities are, what the challenge is, how we're going to meet it, and not be adventurous. And while protecting our interests, which we will, there's no doubt about it, to see if we can actually make some concessions which may be necessary in order to obtain some concessions from the United States.
Right. So one quick question before I let you go. You mentioned initially that this is a private visit. Vice President is traveling with his family, but J.D. Vance is someone who who pulls no punches. We have seen his appearances in Europe twice now, and he really sort of calls a spade, and he seems to be building up to a future presidency, if not in 2020, if not the next one, maybe next to that. In that sense, you think this engagement with Vice President Vance holds India and India-United States relationship in good stead going forward?
Oh, yes, of course. We are investing very early in this relationship, and Vice President Vance has taken a very conscious decision to come to India very early during his tenure. Even though he's come on a private visit, he knows that there's an official flavor to this visit, and he'll have an occasion to have solid discussions with the Prime Minister and discuss the agenda that we have between the two countries. And it's good that we brief him thoroughly about where we are headed, because he's playing a very important foreign policy role in the Trump administration. He has a strong personality, he has strong views, and if we have him on the winning side insofar as we are concerned, it is certainly helpful to us.
Right. Right. Thank you so much. For the next 3 days, we'll see J.D. Vance, coming to India and...
May I say something, though?
Yeah, please do, sir.
I was a bit surprised at the statement that has been made by the Congress Party's spokesperson, where he's advocating that we should talk tough with President Vance and lecture him on why they've left the WHO and the climate change agreement and the WTO and everything else. This is just not the moment. Actually, we should not use this visit to play domestic politics. We should actually do things which help in forging a stronger ties with the United States. The United States is a very difficult country, even for its allies. There's no doubt about that. And Trump is unpredictable. But it has become the most important relationship with us.
Yeah.
And therefore, we should have a basic national consensus that we should try and extract the maximum that we can from this difficult relationship rather than playing cynical domestic politics and actually putting roadblocks in our relationship with the United States.
Absolutely well, sister. That's why I asked at the beginning whether we have done the right thing by not really retaliating. The Congress party, of course, baiting the ruling BJP because they have nothing to lose. And you rightly mentioned that we shouldn't be playing politics of this kind with such an important relationship for India and its foreign policy. Thank you so much, Kanwal Sibal, there, former Foreign Secretary, giving a lowdown on how the visit of US Vice President J.D. Vance is going to pan out, and so far as India is concerned, what are going to be the possible takeaways.